Nightmarish demon attack. In the heart of an unfamiliar and treacherous land, 8 intrepid tourists embarked on an adventure of a lifetime. They had been drawn to the allure of the unknown, the promise of discovery, and the thrill of experiencing the most dangerous part of the country. For days, they journeyed through dense forests that whispered secrets of ancient times, across barren deserts that seemed to stretch on forever, and over towering mountains that touched the very heavens. Each step they took was a testament to their courage and determination, an affirmation that they were bound together by a common spirit of adventure. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, the group found themselves in a desolate area that seemed far removed from the familiar landscapes they had encountered. The bus, which had been their trusted companion throughout the journey, sputtered and groaned, coming to a sudden, jarring halt. Panic spread among them like wildfire as they realized they were stranded in this desolate place, miles away from civilization, with darkness slowly descending upon them. Their phones displayed no signal, and the vast emptiness seemed to swallow their cries for help. An overwhelming feeling of isolation set in, enhanced by the haunting call of distant nocturnal creatures and the chilling wind that seemed to carry with it the whispers of forgotten tales. The group huddled together in the bus, their breaths visible in the cold air, their eyes reflecting the unease that had settled deep within their souls. As night draped its inky shroud over the land, an eerie stillness hung heavily in the air. The silence was broken only by the distant howling of wolves, a haunting reminder of the wild and untamed nature of the land they were trapped in. The cold wind rustled the leaves of skeletal trees, each rustle sending shivers down their spines. An unexplainable feeling of dread began to take hold of them, an instinctual understanding that they were no longer the masters of their fate. Suddenly, a bone-chilling scream rent the silence, the sound so piercing that it seemed to pierce through the night itself. The group's hearts raced as their eyes were drawn to a figure emerging from the shadows. It was a demon, a grotesque manifestation of nightmares, with eyes that seemed to gleam with an otherworldly malevolence. The tourists were frozen in place, their eyes locked onto the approaching figure, their minds struggling to comprehend the horror that was unfolding before them. The demon's laughter cut through the air like a knife, chilling their blood as it echoed around them. One by one, it seized them, its movements fluid and calculated. The first soul was taken, and with a swift, grotesque motion, the demon tore off the head, leaving behind a lifeless body. The remaining tourists watched in shock and disbelief, their minds unable to fully process the macabre scene unfolding before them. With each abduction, the demon's laughter grew louder, a sickening symphony that played to an audience gripped by terror. As the ritualistic horror continued, the survivors could only exchange horrified glances, their thoughts a cacophony of fear and desperation. They watched as the demon claimed another victim, tearing away their hands with a horrifying ease. Then came the agonizing abduction that left a person without their legs, followed by the gruesome removal of another's breast. The survivors clung to each other, the weight of their impending doom pressing down upon them like a heavy fog. And then, as the fourth person's mangled body was returned to them, a chilling realization gripped the narrator. They understood with a gut-wrenching certainty that they were next in line, that the demon's insatiable hunger for terror would soon be turned upon them. With trembling hands and a heart pounding with adrenaline, the narrator reached into their bag and retrieved a music player, hoping beyond hope that somehow, someway, this small device could become their salvation. The music filled the air, a stark contrast to the heavy silence that had enveloped them. It was a lifeline, connection to something familiar and comforting, defiance against the darkness that sought to consume them. The survivors held their breath, their gazes fixed on the demon, their minds racing with a desperate plea that this unexpected weapon might grant them a reprieve from the nightmarish fate that awaited. In an astonishing turn of events, the music seemed to work. The demon, which had been advancing with a predatory determination, faltered. Its once confident stride became a hesitant shuffle, and its malevolent laughter began to waver. The survivors watched in awe as the demon's form seemed to waver, as if the very essence of its being was being affected by the power of the music. And then, with an abruptness that defied comprehension, the demon turned and retreated into the shadows, its laughter growing fainter and fainter until it was nothing more than a haunting echo. The survivors were left stunned and breathless, their hearts still racing from the adrenaline that had coursed through their veins. The music had become their shield, a beacon of light in the suffocating darkness. Hours passed, the music continuing to play, creating a protective barrier against the malevolent forces that had threatened their very existence. And as the first light of dawn broke the horizon, they saw a rescue team approaching, their headlights cutting through the remnants of the night. Their ordeal was over, but the scars of that terrifying night would forever remain etched in their memories. The survivors emerged from the darkness, forever changed by the horrors they had witnessed. The demons' ritualistic atrocities had tested their limits, pushing them to confront the very essence of fear itself. But they had also discovered the power of human resilience, the strength that comes from facing the unimaginable together, and the surprising potential for salvation in the unlikeliest of forms. As they left the dangerous part of the country behind, they carried with them the weight of their experiences, the knowledge that life is both fragile and precious, and the understanding that some battles can only be won through the unyielding power of unity and the unexpected magic of music.